Hello and welcome to this best of three series between Samurai, our Asian newcomer, and VM's Chosen, specifically on Borderload Landing. Be sure to like and subscribe for more games, and let's get into it. So, I've seen a couple of the comments commenting on the prevalence of a couple of the factions, but after seeing this loading screen, man, I don't think you guys will be complaining about this specific game from Slaanesh. Man, what is this build? We got Prince Siggy. Like, we haven't seen Siggy since probably the start of this patch, or even before that, right? Because when you want an unkillable lord that can heal, now you can just go mask, right? Because it's still like he is still amazing. 110 armor is crazy. Shielded with the auric armor, he has basic healing. He is also silver slash and slipper. He's actually bringing the expensive version of Siggy, which is interesting too, because usually when you go Siggy, you want to just grab auric armor and that's basically it. You don't even grab this just because it's such a long cooldown and such a short duration for it that you kind of don't even feel that it is worth it. We also have, while we're on the subject, a keeper of freaking secrets. God damn. With the bounce spells Acquiescence and 2 lashes. Also, the demons basically get the glamour of Slaanesh, which is super cool. We also got Mirror Guard. Classic Chaos Warriors, 54 MD magic damage. They're super strong. Couple of Forsaken, couple of Health Scourges, also Chaos Warrior Health Scourges. Again, I was just talking to Killian about this, and they're super strong, man. Like, whenever your opponent is not expecting stuff like super heavy infantry, and currently it's like you're always going to go for some Slangors, you're always going to go for some besides the Slangors, the Forsaken, right? So people are expecting those, but they're not expecting or fully really ready for stuff like Hell Scourges. They also have Charge Reflection and Expert Charge Defense, which is amazing for a non-halberd unit. We also got Pleasure Guard. These little guys are basically insane. They're probably, besides the Pleasure Seekers, the ones that are the most Terminator-esque on the entire roster. And on the side of another Slaanesh, on the side of Ogres, we got some Lead Belchers, we got a couple of Trappers, basically to stop any sort of the cav. Trappers are great in this matchup because of their little thing called Noblar Traps, which is when they're stationary and something is coming in against them. They basically pop these little Noblar traps and absolutely wreck the charge of something that is coming in. We also see a Slaughtermaster of Heavens, a Hunter. Hunters are great anti-large fighters. They also have their little javelins, 20 of them. They're super good, 500 damage, armor piercing, great stuff. Chain Lightning against stuff like Forsaken and the Chaos Warriors, and then Wind Blast to just screw up the movement, right? 65% acceleration, speed, and charge bonus is charge speed, pardon, is super strong, especially against Slaanesh, who very much relies on hit and run tactics. And yeah, other than that, we just got a couple of bulls, a couple of Noblars, and a couple of flingers in the back. So cool builds from both sides. Like, this is a pretty wide build, but very nice nice tech from Chosen in being the one that is going to counter both things that Slaanesh usually does well with just 2 spells. So super good from him. Also, Lead Belchers, he did not even bring the so he brought Blood Cleaver to heal himself when he's in combat. Interesting that he brought Blood Cleaver, but not, for example, extra ingredients to get more WOM. First summon, gonna be Exalted Hero. Again, Disarm, Glamour of Slaanesh. This guy is an amazing fighter on his Boob Snake. So him plus Siggy is usually, as we've seen in the previous games, like we just have a goon squad of the Exalted Hero, potentially the Sorcerer, since we still don't see any sort of magic, and then the Keeper of Secrets and the Pleasure Guard are just going to be going all in to absolutely wreck. And we continue with the special, the absolute Chosen special of chevroning his units, man. 4 chevrons on the Saber Tusks. Quite cool to see. Let's see what the breakpoints for that specifically are. So Saber Tusks kind of have relatively good base leadership compared to other things. So I'm not sure why the Saber Tusk. Maybe they perform better into. I would need to do some testing, but they probably do perform a bit better into stuff like Hellstriders, right? And that is probably the idea behind it. And we have the Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh. So with the lore passive, so he wants to fight. Hysterical Frenzy, oh my god, an Acquiescence. He's gonna murder some fools, man. If he goes in for, and the Slaughtermaster is kind of out of position, or let's say the Lead Belchers are kind of out of position, I imagine they insta-die to this type of squad. But this is a pretty tall army, right? And this is a pretty wide army. It's literally 10 units, 12 units difference here. And if the trappers are in the proper positions at some point, they're going to be very difficult to get rid of. We also see some more Saber Tusks, some Bulls dual weapons, and we're just kind of posturing here, right? So I'll just speed it up until the at least some form of the fighting happens. Lead Belcher's going a bit forward, but he feels that he can do this just because he does have the Saber Tusks to the side to actually try and screen out. So he's not putting himself in any sort of danger just by being like this far forward, right? I think it would have been maybe a bit better here, but Lead Belchers being here can technically support the Saber Tusks that are on this side, so they're kind of not the problem. Saber Tusks, though, should very much evacuate very quickly, because these guys have, even though they're like 65 speed, not the fastest, we're gonna see an absolute destruction here on charge. Oh my god, that's like 3, oh my god, even every single hit absolutely killed one of the models from the Saber Tusks, and that's why they lost so much HP on the charge. These guys have insane damage from weapon strength, and they still have Strider, so they can just continue charging in, right? And when the Saber Tusks actually go into the fight, into the forest, they don't have Woodsman, right? But these guys have Strider, so that means they're not going to get any penalties from the forest, and this is just a freebie from the Saber Tusks. We see the Goon Squad coming in and starting to fight the Bulls. Man, the Chaos Sorcerer on his steed is such a good fighter too, and we actually see Chosen backing off, basically. He does not want any of that smoke, and he already killed one of the Saber Tusks, so he basically got all of the value back from stuff like poking of the Lead Belchers, let's say. Lead Belchers definitely should turn around and start shooting, but he needs something that is going to deal with this Exalted Hero, right? He should be just stuck in some Bulls and be left there to just fight it out. Because currently, at least, unless you're gonna focus him with Flingers and the Trappers, this guy ain't dying. Siggy ain't dying, and Slaanesh Sorcerer can die. He's probably the only one that potentially can die, but he still also has 100 freaking armor, so he's a bit tough to kill. And Chosen did yield the objective back to Slaanesh. I feel like, yeah, with the Noblars and the Ogre Bulls, he can potentially just go back onto the objective and chill there. But these Lead Belchers, man, they're so sad. They're so sad that they can't properly shoot into stuff. Maybe a pistol in the back when Slaanesh starts engaging. Having a pistol in the back would be pretty prudent against stuff like the Keeper of Secrets. But the Lead Belchers are just so good, man. So them side shooting into stuff like Slaanesh, Forsaken, or the Mirror Guard and stuff is just so good. Again, Ogre Bulls can technically just be sacrificed to tar pit the important stuff while you try to clean up everything here. But Chosen is doing a very good job in luring Slaanesh into a bad engagement, right? If you look at the full macro look at the map, right? This is the half of the map. And Ogres are pretty speedy, so they can do like reinforcements very quickly, though of course Slaanesh can as well. But if you lure your opponent to your side of the map constantly and just make them take bad engagements into your side and overextend like he is currently, while still holding the objective, this is the important part, right? He's still holding the objective here too. That is just premium currency for you, right? We got a Chaos Warrior here facing off the Saber Tusks. He knows that they're there. So, but the Pleasure Guard and a bonus Hellstrider are actually coming in and are going to probably start doing some cleanup here. On the other side, we see Hellstriders charging into the Trappers. Not the best, right? These guys are also disoriented from the little charge of the Piggyback Riders. So As long as he kind of doesn't lose to the Goon Squad. Oh, this is a beautiful. I was waiting for some sort of magic when there's a blob up. This is a beautiful Chain Lightning, hitting 2 Forsaken units and also the Keeper of Secrets. Didn't do as much damage as I expected, but it is still very good. Nice Lash basically hitting into this, and basically Ogre Bulls, dual weapons going into the Slaanesh Forsaken is also a pretty good fight. We actually see Golgfags, Man-Eaters, fighting into double Slaanesh. They definitely are in a good fight, especially with the piggybacks, but if the piggybacks actually break, this is going to be a tough cookie. On the other side, we just see a cleanup crew of Pleasure Guard and the Hellstriders. They're just going to terminate the source code of everything that they touch, so that is going to be a potential flank overload that soon is going to become a problem. The piggybacks actually ran away, so now the Golgs, Man-Eaters, are just not supported enough, and there is just enough damage here to actually bring them down. He needs to quickly cycle in some more Noblars there to be able to win it. On the backside, we do see that the Saber-Tusks wanted to ninja the objective, but they actually get caught on the charge from the Hellstriders and then end up not even capturing the objective to do the little ninja attempt. While on the front line, the Forsaken are wavering, and it's just going to be the Keeper of Secrets against a bunch of mass, which is not its favorite thing. As long as the Pleasure Guard don't fully like overtake this entire army, this is going to be fine, right? Because you still have dual weapon ogres fighting into Mirror Guard. That's a relatively good fight for them, and they're going to do fine. So on this side, yeah, both Forsaken got caught, and now we see just the Flingers and the Trappers coming back and just shooting into the Keeper of the Secrets, which is a great fight for them. Siggy can basically be ignored if you just leave him in one of the bulls. Oh, another beautiful Chain Lightning. Oh my god, look at the perfection of this Chain Lightning, literally hitting all of the units perfectly, and they are just gonna get destroyed. Look at that, 40% HP off of them, off the Chaos Warriors, Slaanesh, Hell Scourges. This is quite unfortunate for Chosen. He did lose both of his Saber Tusks in the back because he was just too micro-taxed to do anything about it. And then when you're looking at the mainline fighting, there is currently at least nothing that can kill these guys, right? The Pleasure Guard are still at 16 out of 16 models with half of their HP. They're just gonna keep on grinding here, and potentially the Hunter is going to have a better time just standing here and shooting at them compared to just fighting with them. How did the Lead Belchers do? Lead Belchers being shut down this entire time is a huge problem for the Ogre side, because they are basically your counter to stuff like this that is going to come out later in the game, which is the Horsemen. And also they are super good into stuff like the Chaos Warriors, right? Or the Forsaken. So very well played to Samurai for actually being able to shut down the Lead Belchers, because that could have potentially been a problem. These guys should definitely be unsummoned. They are not going to do anything if they come in here. What great magic there has been from Chosen, man. Like super good Chain Lightnings all around, and also a couple of the Wind Blasts that we also saw on stuff like the Hellstriders. But the Keeper of Secrets still going strong. 800 value, not really paying for itself, but it's a huge terror-causing monster. And what are Ogres? Ogres are super bad at having any sort of leadership, right? So if we go back here, the Mirror Guard are finally wavering and finally gonna die, and the Pleasure Guard are just getting popped by the hysterical frenzies and just continuing to murder everything in their wake. He even sends in the Riders of the Mighty Serpent because he knows that as long as there are bodies around the Pleasure Guard that can take a couple of the hits from everything else, the Pleasure Guard are just going to keep murdering everything on the opponent's roster, right? So that is a very nice play. Even though it kind of sacrifices the Riders of the Mighty Serpent, it is still super good to do, just because they are such a killy unit and so good at their job. Still, we see Hellstriders, we see Devoted Marauders fighting it out. Finally, this guy is getting clapped, but not before paying for himself. And the Hunter is super tired, man. Like, I would be tired to look at this. -5 from disarm and glamour, and then -11 from exhausted. He's just screwed. Still, this guy with -16 still hits like an absolute truck. And finally, where did the mirror guard, the pleasure guard go? Okay, finally the pleasure guard are taken down and not a problem anymore. But when you look at the objectives, it's still very, very much favored for Slaanesh, right? They are fighting in your opponent's spawn, and they have just an overwhelming force of Hellstriders, Chaos Warriors. Forsaken are some of the worst units that Ogres want to be fighting here. There is a Fascination here coming down to rampage finally the Lead Belchers and take them down. They almost ended up paying for themselves. Nice Lash. Lash doesn't matter. The basic lore passive matters. Oh, but that Lash was from the Keeper actually, so he did not get the proc of the lore passive. Still quite good. He has his opponent triple capped. He's just going around with his little squad of mobility and just keeps charging into stuff like the trappers, which are very low leadership, and they have already used their traps. Another beautiful chain lightning from the side of Samurai, from the side of pardon, Chosen, but it is probably not going to be enough, even though he's quite close with his opponent on objectives. By the time this little force fights through everything and gets to the middle objective, it's still going to be a problem. Like, look at this. He still has 4 units that are totally healthy, and look at the amount of broken units on that objective. That is just a sad state of affairs. Very nice flinger play still. These flingers probably did very well. Yeah, they paid for themselves, but it's now 100% over. Look at the squad. Squad coming in to Lord Snipe the Ogres, and Lord Sniping the Ogres spells doom for all Ogre players. Similar to what Skaven and Norska feel like. When they lose their Lord, their entire army collapses, and there is very little that you can do about it. Nice try with the Noblars, but these guys have like 0.5 capture rate. It's going to take them the entirety of 10 years to be able to actually get that objective. And the Slaughter Master actually does rally and ends up turning it around with the surround on the Exalted Hero. But Siggy is still full HP. On this side, you still have 4 mobility pieces that can come in here and absolutely bully the Saber Tusks. And you still have the most freaking annoying unit. Nice charge. So he was too focused on charging these Saber Tusks. Chosen comes in and cycles basically a charge onto these guys, but he immediately gets popped by a hysterical frenzy, and these guys actually get rampaged because they take so much damage and are gonna go back into the Forsaken, who are gonna murder their faces. Oh no, quite unfortunate. Chaos Warriors basically taking 1 damage a pop from the flingers. Yeah, 1 damage a pop, even if that. When they're not shield blocking it, and yeah, it is just over. Unfortunately, Slaanesh is again the victor, but definitely a much different and more interesting game than just a standard mask play. Also, just to mention, we are banning mask in the next league, so we are probably going to see a few less Slaanesh players at least in there. And yeah, let's look at the value and get into game 2. So Forsaken, very good. These guys are there just to hold, so their job is not to grind, so that is fine, because they hold. That's the anvil to the hammer of these guys, right? And the squad. So as we said, Champions of Slaanesh, absolute Terminators, they were amazing. Keeper of Secrets also paid for itself. This guy, absolute Terminator, 1.7k. Slaanesh Lord, just there to charge and then cast spells and proc the passive. Forsaken did very well. Horsemen, not the greatest, not the worst. And then Hellstriders, a classic staple. From the side of Slaughtermaster of Heavens, 1500 on him from the Chain Lightnings is very nice. Hunter also very much paying for himself with 1200. Nobles just doing their standard stuff there to hold. The Bulls not paying for themselves, which is quite unfortunate. The Trappers were great because, again, you don't want to commit to actually, the Flingers, pardon, you don't want to commit to actually killing them, but they're super annoying over time, right? And will get their value. Trappers did fine. Lead Belchers is the unfortunate part of this game. I feel like if there was better Lead Belcher micro and or play and or shots, he could have had a much better chance of making the game more even. Saber Tusks unfortunately kept getting caught by the superior mobility. Golgs, Man-Eaters just not doing the play. And I feel like these Trappers could have been summoned and did a bit more. Honestly, like prioritizing summoning them over something like a Vulture or something, right? I feel like they could have done just fine during the build-up. Cool game. 1-0 for Samurai. Let's see how game 2 goes.